Happy Labor Day, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Fly Can Eagle Podcast, the first edition of the regular season of the 2021 bird season. I'm here with my co-host, Zach Harris at the top right and Zomp at my bottom. We're playing the Atlanta Falcons, and it's pretty simple. I'm looking at this Atlanta Falcons depth chart. They're a god-awful football team, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care if this is on the road or whatnot. This team, if we cannot beat this team in Atlanta or wherever we're playing, we're really bad. I hate to break it to you. Kyle Pitts, the guy they drafted 4th overall, is penciled in as their number 2 tight end right now. Hayden Hurst is starting over him right now. That's how fucking whack this team is. The defense, no-name players. The Calvin Ridley is their one Pro Bowler, in my opinion. Their running backs, Mike Davis, averaging 3.1 yards a carry throughout his career. And Cordell Patterson, I thought he was a return specialist. That's their 2 running backs. We will stop them. So basically, it's going to come down to us stopping Matt Ryan through the air and Calvin Ridley and maybe Kyle Pitts. That's it. If you cannot beat this team, you're not going to win many games this year. And I know Zom's going to have his case. He's going to say that Jalen Hurts is going to light it up, whatever. This is the time. I've been bashing Jalen Hurts since last year. I said this guy doesn't have it. He's not the it factor. And it's put up or shut up time. This is a game that the Philadelphia Eagles must win if they're going to contend in this division. With that said, I'm going to bring in Zomp first. Zomp, how you doing, buddy?
Guys, what's up? It's I can't believe we have less than a week, and then 3. This little girl is killing me over here. Killing all my juice, this little girl. But Thursday, what do we start? Thursday, but the real action begins on Sunday. I'm very excited. Listen, I don't think I'm going to sit here and say that I know what to expect from Jalen Hurts, because I don't. And I said this is his real first test, in my opinion, because last year, you were thrown into the fire. We saw a little bit of a sample. But listen, I've been saying it all along that I just think that with the coaches that we have, with all the stuff that I'm reading and through it all, I just think that we're a better team than Atlanta. Like you said, the depth. Listen, I look at our starting 11 versus their starting 11. We have the better offensive line. We have the better running back. They have the better quarterback, because I don't really know what Jalen Hurts is, so I'll give that to Matt Ryan. Calvin Ridley is going to be a star. If he is not a star already. But all in all, I just think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to come out with a big win. They have no more Julio Jones. Julio Jones is an Eagle killer. And 2 years ago, if everybody remembers that 0 blitz that we had on 4th down, we could have easily won that game. And we had no Deshaun, no Alshon, no Zach Ertz, no nobody, and we still almost won. I have a feeling that we win this game 23-14, 23-17, and we start the season off with a win.
I hear you. Hey, Zach.
Labor Day weekend, so Zomp's got his coffee, I got a baby. Baby duty calls, I come running. But the game absolutely is going to be a tight matchup. I think we've seen that time and time again over the last couple of years, playoffs, regular season, doesn't matter. This has always been a hard-fought game. I do think we see Matt Ryan bounce back, but I don't know if it's going to be week 1, probably the regular season, but not week 1. We've seen what Calvin Ridley can do with Julio, and we've seen what he can do without Julio, and he's definitely taken that step to be a number 1 receiver on the defensive side of the ball for the Falcons. I think a name to watch out for is second-year defensive back A.J. Terrell. They reached for him a little bit, but he got some experience, and the problem is, who is going to be our number 1 receiver? Is it going to be the rookie Devonta Smith? Is it going to be Jalen Reagor or Jeremy Maclin? He didn't go out and buy the Jalen Reagor jersey. Don't lie.
It's my day one guy. I wanted him drafted here. He's going to be a Pro Bowler. He's going to be the best wide receiver on this team. Yes, better than Devonta Smith. I'm saying it right now. He's going to show everyone what he's made of, and everyone's going to eat their words, including that bitch Zomp over there.
So, I think Devonta Smith ends up being our number 1 receiver, but the good thing about this team is that we have so many decent weapons that we can have a surplus of targets that goes all the way around, including Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders, as well as our wide receivers, and then our dual tight ends with Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. I think we need to continue to see the 12 personnel that we've seen in years past with Doug Peterson, because that's when we're at our best, when we have the two tight ends on the field at the same time, and that's really how you dictate a defense from the offensive standpoint.
Well, I mean, this game rides and dies with Jalen Hurts. Now, Zom's going to be like, oh, it's if we have chemistry. It's not all on the quarterback this game. No, it's literally all on Jalen Hurts this game. And, like I said before, I talked shit about him throughout the whole offseason. I said this guy isn't that factor. We needed to get Deshaun Watson. We needed to upgrade at quarterback. If we lose this game, it's because of Jalen Hurts. Now, I know what Zom's going to say. We're in the group chat, all right? I'm in a group chat with me and on two other buddies of mine, me, him, and Zom. Jalen Hurts, and I'm predicting right now, he's going to start the game 4 for 5, 65 yards, and maybe a tutty, all right? Then Zom's going to be like, you don't know the game. I am the game. I'm going to be like, all right, Zom. So as we go on later on in the game, they're going to have their little tablets. They're going to adjust. And the way I think about it, I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to do much right after that. So I could already see the writing on the wall. Hopefully I'm wrong. You know me. If I'm wrong, I say it. But now it's time to put it in fruition. We'll see what actually happens. Because, believe it or not, I do want Jalen Hurts to succeed on this football team. Because I don't want to use our assets next year to get a quarterback when we already have one, and we can use those assets to upgrade the team even more for next year where we can turn it around and possibly be contenders. I don't want to waste time. I would love nothing more than for people to kick me in the mouth this season when it comes to Jalen Hurts succeeding. But with my opinions and the way I've seen these teams throughout the years as the franchise, I just don't think this kid has what it takes. And Zach is the Alabama guy. So, I don't know. We will see what happens. I'm just pumped football's back. It starts Thursday. You got the Cowboys and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Zom thinks the Cowboys are going to win. I think Tampa Bay is going to smack them into the ground. And I'm just ready for Sunday. Obviously I cut down on my drinking, so I'm not going to drink much, if at all. And it should be a blast, but I can already predict it. I can already predict what Zomp is going to tell me already. He's going to tell me the first drive of the game, you were so wrong about Jalen Hurts. I'll be like, all right, buddy. All right, buddy. So, Zomp.
Listen,
I'm going to ask you.
I don't know. Ask.
All right, I'm going to ask you. When this does happen on Sunday, his first drive of the game, are you going to say exactly what I just said right here?
No.
Okay.
Because I told you from anybody that watches this, and I'm not just saying this, I'm being completely real with you. I don't know nothing about Jalen Hurts. I never watched college. Everybody who tunes into this knows, all right, Zomp doesn't know anything about college, and I don't. Everybody watched this Notre Dame Florida State game yesterday. You know what I was watching?
Great
I was
game.
watching the U.S. Open.
You were watching no. You were watching AEW.
I really wasn't.
You really were.
Because you have to pay for AEW, and I'm not paying for it.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, I have no interest in college football unless it's like the bowls, the Fiesta Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and all that stuff. I don't know anything about Jalen Hurts. I saw a little sample. I liked what I saw. There are things that he could have worked on, and I've said this from time and time again. I am not going to sit here and do what I did with Carson Wentz, which is every time he made a completion, oh, I told you. Mm-hmm. Every time he throws a bomb, oh, I told you. But I'm not caping for Jalen Hurts. But from what I see, it's what everybody sees, which is great leadership, a guy that is grinding, a guy that doesn't feel bad for himself, a guy that puts his team first. That's what I see. Now you have to translate it into the football field. All I'm saying is, and I've been saying this for the last 2 months, Atlanta should not beat us. We are in deep, deep trouble. Unless the only way we lose this game is 2 things. We're not getting pressure on Matt Ryan, and we go down with all these injuries. Because from top to bottom, in my opinion, we are far better than the Atlanta Falcons. Going into the season, we are better than Atlanta. There's nothing Atlanta Falcons have that scares me. Kyle Pitts, we don't know what he is. He's a rookie. Okay, he might kill us. Who knows? The only person in years past that always killed us was Julio Jones. That was Matt Ryan's security blanket all the time. And think about it, like I said, 2 years ago, we had them beat on Sunday Night Football. Who killed us with the last drive? Julio Jones. And we had absolutely 4th and 5th stringers at wide receiver and running back. I think we're going to incorporate the running backs. I think Gainwell's going to have a good game. I think Miles Sanders is going to have a good game. We are going to focus on the line of scrimmage with the offensive line and these little dump-offs and screen passes. We're going to see a totally different Philadelphia Eagles team. And I'm saying we're going to win because based off the opponent we're playing. And I think Atlanta's going to stink, and I think we should win 23-14, 23-17. That's what I honestly
You're
believe.
not, yeah, but you're not wrong. I said on paper, we are the better team. It all starts and ends with the quarterback. Like OJ Mo on Facebook said, but Nitro has a point. Jalen needs to prove he could lead this team or it's going to be a really bad season. It's all about the quarterback this year, and it usually is about the quarterback, but it's really about the quarterback this year.
I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is, let's say we lose the game 34-30. That's not on the quarterback.
34.
If you lose 34-30, that's not the quarterback.
But if we let up 30 points to the Atlanta Falcons, that means the defense sucks because they have no run game. They have no run game. You could literally load the box and make Matt Ryan throw every single drive because their starting running back is Mike Davis. They don't have a running game.
I understand.
And a guy they picked up a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you said, if we lose the game, it's probably going to be on Jalen Hurts. If we lose 34-30, it ain't on Jalen Hurts.
Well, then we'll suck regardless because that means the defense is dreadful.
I mean, it could still be on Jalen Hurts if he has 3 turnovers in a 34-30 game, and that leads to points for the Falcons.
I just think our D-line is going to dominate. Matt Ryan is immobile. He cannot run. So there's no reason why we shouldn't win this game.
Well, here's the thing, Mark Williams on Facebook. He said Eagles defended horribly against a tight end last year. Let's hope Pitts doesn't have a coming out party. He's not even penciled in as the number 1 tight end this week. It's actually Hayden Hurst. So I think they're going to put either a 2 tight end set out there or they're going to rotate them back and forth. Kyle Pitts is a guy that everyone on Twitter is telling me is going to be the next Julio Jones when the guy's literally a tight end. So I don't know what to make of it. Yeah. Julio Jones ruined us for years, torched us for years. If this guy's exactly like Julio Jones, they're going to beat us. It's that simple.
Yeah, but what Mark Williams doesn't understand is this is a totally different defense. So even though I'm not saying it's going to be good and I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but that's Jim Schwartz's defense of how he played against the tight end. We don't know what we have here. So you don't know.
You bashed Jimmy Schwartz way too much. This Gannon guy from the defensive coordinator we got from the Colts. We don't know what he is. Yeah. We got beat 35-0 with our depth in there against the New England Patriots. So, you don't know who he is.
Preseason.
Yeah, preseason, 35-0 still matters.
This is also his first time calling plays from a defensive coordinator position. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously it's only preseason, but from what I saw from preseason, it kind of seemed like a defense that did not want to get beat over the top. We need solid tackling and minimize gains when the ball is caught. So we'll see what he does and adds into that vanilla defense that we saw in preseason. But that's just my takeaway is that we don't want to get beat over the top, and that's something that's happened time and time again the last handful of years. So we'll see how it rides.
Yeah, and another stat I want to bring up, this Eagles team has not beat Atlanta in Atlanta, no matter what stadium it was, since 2009. That's when we brought back Michael Vick the first season. That was his first game back in Atlanta where he rushed in for a touchdown with our 2019. That's the last time we won in Atlanta. So something's got to give, right? I mean,
when did Julio Jones get drafted?
2011.
Yeah, so that's true.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I mean, Julio Jones, he's a dog. I wanted Julio Jones. I really did. I want them to trade for him. I also wanted Michael Thomas. But listen, I feel like we have 2 studs at wide receiver, Jalen Reagor and Devonta Smith. I think Devonta Smith's going to ball out. I truly do. But we will see. Wait, what?
Jalen Reagor stinks.
You're such an asshole. Like I don't understand you. I don't understand.
I'll tell you why I don't understand.
All right, tell me.
You just said a star. You know what that means? You can't just use that. And I don't want to use this as an argument with you. I want to talk about the Eagles season. I want to talk about predictions. Okay, you say that, but then when somebody says, "Oh, but Jalen Hurts is going to be a star," you bash them. Jalen Reagor has shown nothing in college that he could be a star. Showed nothing in the NFL that he could be a star. It's the same.
The worst quarterback of all time.
It's the same argument. It's the same argument with Jalen Hurts that you say that he didn't do nothing in college yet. Regardless,
did you see that catch in practice?
Yeah. In practice.
I don't care if it's practice or not.
What has he done?
If you can catch the ball like that, you're going to be great.
What has he done against New England 35-0? What did he do against Pittsburgh? What did he do? A couple catches? What did he do?
It was real game speed.
Come on, guys. Okay.
Come on, guy. What?
I guarantee you he'll have more than 700 yards in this season, Jalen Reagor, if we're lucky.
Guarantee?
He's nothing more than He's nothing more than a number 2, number 3 on the team.
Number 2, number 3 on the team. All right,
Jalen
Zomp.
Rager stinks, and he's a
all right.
bum.
Yeah.
Man, I miss this. I love you guys.
Yeah.
And
So
it has nothing to
back
do
and
with.
forth.
I want to go on the record here. It has nothing to do with Kyle's boy. It has nothing to do with it.
It is my
Jalen
boy.
Rager, from what I see, he's soft on Twitter, protecting tweets, getting off Twitter, getting on Twitter. Oh, this is going to be the year.
Oh, wait.
I'm going to be a dog.
Maybe you put too much stock into Twitter, and maybe people realize, or Jalen Rager realized that he's smarter. He has money. He doesn't have to listen to people like you. You know, that's why he gets off Twitter.
Well, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to tweet, okay, if you're going to tweet that this is going to be the year where I break out, I'm going to make them remember me. About the Justin Jefferson, I'm going to make them remember me. Do it then. Show me. Shut me up. Do it.
He's going to do it. He's going to.
I don't want to see drop balls. I don't want to see you be hurt by week 4, which probably is going to happen. So far in his rookie year, drops, hurt. Not there. That's why Sirianni says, I had to talk to him. I had to let him know. Listen, this is how it is. Okay, he made a catch in practice. If Jalen Hurts threw a fucking 75-yard bomb in practice, you would say like this, Zomp, it's practice, right?
Well, he's never thrown a 75 bomb in practice. He doesn't have an arm.
I'm making a point.
But that's not a point because he doesn't have an arm. Make a better point.
I guarantee you Jalen Rager is going to be a bum. That's what I think.
All right. That's a hot take.
All right. Well, let me intervene here for a second.
Right.
Because the way that Zomp wants Kyle to wait and see what we got in Jalen Hurts, I think we should wait and see what we have on Jalen Rager. Because the passing offense last year was terrible. Terrible. You know, how many over-the-middle plays that we have for Jalen Rager? How many plays near the line of scrimmage that we have for Jalen Rager? We didn't really put him in a situation to succeed to begin with. Now, granted, he needs to show me something.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Zach?
You hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
All right, so take over until
Zach.
he finds out. Zach,
Zach,
we can't
count
hear
to
you.
5. Zach, count to 5. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Go, take over then.
All right, so basically Lamar Davis in the comment section said Hurts has a good arm. I'm literally telling you, Lamar Davis, do you watch college? Like, do you watch college football? This guy does not have a good arm. He's Zomp's boy. He's literally Zomp's boy, but with feet. Eli Manning.
Hold on. Zach, you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Cool.
Yeah, go. Continue.
Yeah, I got a phone call in the middle of that. So, anyways, what I'm saying is I need to see something from Jalen Rager, but we also need to put him in a situation to succeed. Like the way we saw with Quez Watkins, how he had that 79-yard wide receiver screen. We didn't see any of those last year, unless it was with Alshon Jeffrey. How are you putting the slowest guy in a wide receiver screen? So that just shows me that maybe we need to put this guy in a better situation because he is explosive, because he does have speed. Maybe he's not the greatest route runner. Maybe he can't create the greatest separation. But put the ball in his hands, see what he can do, and until he shows me something, I'm not going to go one way or the other.
All right, that's fair. And then Zomp's obviously like, oh, he's going to launch bombs to practice. All right, well, it's put up or shut up time, like I said. You know, the Philadelphia Eagles, Atlanta Falcons, in Atlanta, in a place we haven't won since 2009. Lamar Davis thinks they're a good bomb. I mean, I'm going to go back to Lamar Davis. Lamar Davis, have you watched college football? Have you watched Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma and at Alabama? Now, granted, in Oklahoma, he was a little bit better with Lincoln Riley as his coach. I understand that. But 1 year doesn't tell you everything you need to know, especially in a weak-ass Big 10 conference. So, a Big 12 conference. So, this week will really tell everything. The last season, Jalen Hurts started off against the number 1 seed in the NFC, in the New Orleans Saints. He beat Taysom Hill. All right, he was great in the first half, kind of regressed in the second half. Then he played the Arizona Cardinals, Cowboys, then the Washington Football Team. Those 3 defenses, in my opinion, kind of stink. So this is the one game on the road with all the pressure on your back where you have to prove to me that you are the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's that simple. And if he does it, I will be the first one to crow. I will be, because I'm a man.
Listen, so. I just think this offense is going to go as far as Sirianni takes them, and that's the honest truth. How the coaches are going to use their running backs. All I heard off season was They're going to use a lot more screen games. Listen, anybody that knows if they were if they were fans of the Philadelphia Eagles back in the 90s, early 2000s, all this McNabb to Westbrook, it's always that, and I have never seen it, and they stopped. Andy Reid stopped it too. I want to see
there's no running back. There's no running back that can do it as great as Westbrook did it.
No, absolutely. But Gainwell is more than capable of catching the ball. Miles Sanders has trouble catching the ball, but I want to go back to running game. I want to go back to ground and pound. I want to use our running backs. I want to utilize our running backs. Spread those linebackers out instead of just our wide receivers going out. We have trouble already with the one-on-ones, and the only person that can beat one-on-one coverage, in my opinion, is Devontae Smith. Now, listen, I think this offense could be good. I'm not saying top 10, top 15. I'm just saying this offense could score points if we're put in the right position, in the right places. And I think that's what Sirianni is just going to try to do with his coaches. They're going to put their players in the right positions to try to score as much points as they can, to try to get the first downs. And I think as the years went on, that's what Doug Peterson failed to do. He was always trying to look for the big play. He was always trying to be very vanilla. I just think we're going to utilize our running backs, our offensive line more on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that's going to help Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. I'm not going to put all my the offense all on Jalen Hurts. Yes, he's the quarterback. He's under the radar, no question about it. But I also want to see what play calls are being called. I don't want to see 3rd and 1, always a run up the middle, quarterback sneak. I want to see something creative, and I think that's what we're going to see with Sirianni and the new coaches.
No, yeah, and I hear you. Nick Augustine on YouTube asked me a pretty good question. What kind of season does Hurts need to have stats-wise to prove to you he's a franchise? I don't care about stats. I'm not a stats guy. I say it all the time. I say it all the time. Stats are for losers. Stats don't prove anything, in my opinion. You saw Carson Wentz in 2019. He brought us to the playoffs by default. He was throwing a garbage man through for 4,000 yards, 500 yards to each garbage man. I understand that. I mean, if you want to go off stats, he was like a god. But if you don't pass the eye test, he was actually one of the worst quarterbacks in Eagles franchise history the last 2 seasons. Stats don't prove anything to me. Like I said, honestly, Hurts just needs to be consistent. He needs to take the team down the field every single game, at least twice during the game, and I'm sold. We're looking towards next year. Well, I'm looking towards next year, all right? Because if we have a quarterback in Jalen Hurts going down the road, we won't have to use our assets next year to get a quarterback. So that's really what I want to see. I want to see if he could lead this team down the field at the professional level consistently. We have a really tough schedule to open up the season. We have Tampa Bay, we have Kansas City, we have the Dallas Cowboys who have Dak Prescott back, and that's on the road. So that's going to be a vengeance game. We have a really tough game to start the season. And we go to Denver. That's always a tough place to play at. So if he could be consistent in those games, I'm not even going to say win me games. I'm saying consistent because Justin Herbert for the Los Angeles Chargers, the record was abysmal last year. They lost 7 straight games in a row, but those games went down to the wire. I think Justin Herbert's going to be great. So if you could bring me those games where you go down to the wire, I don't care if they're wins or losses. If you could bring me those games where you put up every single game as a quarterback and lead this team, I'm sold. It doesn't matter what stats he has. I just want to see a leader, and that's what I generally believe.
I agree with that. I have no rebuttal. I agree with that 100%. And Zach, you can take over after. I agree with everything you said. Just try to be in the game, and that's what I said. Like everybody else, what do you expect this season? Anybody that expects playoffs or anything like that is delusional. This team is not very good in that aspect, but we could also be talking prematurely. Like, how do you know, Zomp, that this team is not that good? I don't know. I'm just going based off everybody's this. Jalen Hurts, this is really, in my opinion, it's his first year, in my opinion. His real first test. You got a rookie head coach, all these new players. Listen, the schedule, I got to admit, I love the schedule. After the first 5-6 games, not even, after the first 4-5-6 games, towards the middle and end of the season, it actually favors us, if you really look at it. It really does favor us, and they're all winnable games. But in the beginning, we have to make sure that we manage not to go 0-4, 1-5, because then it could get ugly. But at the end of the day, I agree with you 100%. I want to be in every game. I want Jalen Hurts to go out there and say, like, okay, we're down 27-14. He brought us back, but we lost. And similar to like what you said about Justin Herbert. You were in every game. You lost 7 games in a row. but they have their franchise quarterback. You want to use that ammunition that we have with those picks, especially if Wentz works out, and then you could build on it. But now, if Jalen Hurts is not the guy, then we're back to square one. I completely agree with you 100%.
Yep, exactly. It all like that's why I say it all pins on him. Anthony Siriano says, I think I said that right, Serrano. Do you think Miles Sanders can clean up the drops? I'm going to be completely honest with you, Anthony. No. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if you couldn't clean up the drops your first 3 years in the league, 2 years in the league, you're never going to do it. You have the case of the dropsies. It's like Nelson Aguilar. He had one season where he didn't drop the ball consistently out of 5. So I don't think he can clean up the drops. It's just I think you should stop. I think you should stop sending them out. Honestly, I feel like you should just run them. Like that's what I would do. I would do more of those plays with like a Boston Scott or something, because he's not going to fix that. Pitts is going to be an all right, whatever. D-line will go crazy of the Falcons. Oh, well, that's not something that I'm like keying in on because our defensive line is always nasty. It's always nasty. It's a top 5 defensive line in the league every single year. So that's not something I'm looking for. I'm looking for the quarterback, and number 2, actually the run game, to be honest with you. Because if Kenneth Gainwell could be a good complementary to Miles Sanders or vice versa, that's gonna be something to be excited about down the road. So I'm looking at Jalen Hurts and the run game. That's what I'm really looking at. The defense, you have Steve Nelson. I think he's very overrated. And you have Darius Slay, our shutdown cornerback. So, we have a lot of pieces that are in there for down the road, like the future. But I'm really only looking at the running back and quarterback, to be honest with you. If Hurts struggles, do you give Minshew a chance? I mean, this is like the Donovan McNabb effect. Because do you guys remember in 2009 when we were in that wild card game against Dallas? And Donovan McNabb was absolutely horrendous. He lost back-to-back games because we lost Andrew Jackson, or what was it, Jamal Jackson or Andrew Jackson? He was our center. We lost him, and he looked abysmal. Jamal, okay. We put him in, and then Michael Vick threw an absolute dart to Jeremy Maclin, and I went for a touchdown, like that. And we stuck with McNabb because he was our guy. If you think Jalen Hurts is your guy, you don't bench him during the season unless he's absolutely brutal. So Jalen Hurts is the starter. He's the starting quarterback, and you have to ride him the whole season no matter what. Minshew's just here for backup. That's what he's here.
Let's go. You have the schedule. Let's go through the schedule, and then we'll give our predictions, and then we'll end it with our offensive MVP and our defensive MVP.
Okay.
Let's do
so you want to go down the full schedule?
Yeah, go down the full schedule because I want proof so that when I win and when I'm right, I get to go back to this and say "fuck you" to everybody.
I'll bring up the schedule.
I know Zach enjoys that.
All right, Eagle schedule.
Yep.
All right, before I bring up the schedule, I want Zach's prediction on this game because he loves to give them so much.
Oh, I hate predictions because it's the one way that no matter what, you end up being wrong. Either you get the score wrong, you get the winner wrong. But I'm going to say, and I'm trying not to put my homerness in it, I'm going to say 24-20 Falcons.
24-20 Falcons. Okay. Now, based off what? What do you think is going to be the X factor? What do you think is going to be the X factor in that game that we lose?
If we could stop the run game, I do believe that, we can get off the offensive line and get after Matty Ice, but ultimately they have weapons there. They do have an absurd amount of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Can they get the most out of Matt Ryan? I think Matty Ryan is going to show why he's called Matty Ice, and he's going to make a big play late to either Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, or, to the rookie tight end. But I think ultimately somebody, a veteran quarterback is going to make a veteran type of play, and that's going to be the difference in the game. And that's something that we're going to have to learn with basically a rookie quarterback that's only had 4 starts in a season where he didn't have training camp and all that other COVID stuff, limited practice throughout the regular season, let alone, preseason. So it's still him acclimating to the NFL game, and, we'll just have to go with the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, all about the running game, like stopping the running game. I think if this defensive line, which is nasty, and our linebackers of lack thereof, can't stop this running back and Mike Davis, it's not going to be a good season. All right, so I'll go down the schedule real quick. Week 1, Atlanta Falcons. I have this as a 27-16 loss. I think I mean, people think that's a blowout. I just feel like our offense is what it is, especially with the quarterback. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. So that's what I'm basing it off of. 27-16 Falcons in that game. What do you think, Sam?
I mean, listen, everybody knows me from Twitter when I was on Twitter, and people know me text messages or whatever, texting. They all know me as a Debbie Downer. They all know me as a reverse psychologist guy, kind of guy. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't agree that we're going to lose. I feel it that we're going to win. I don't know the score. I'm not going to give the score. I'm just going to say it's a W. I just don't see how their offensive line is going to contain our D-line, especially when we have now Ryan Kerrigan, Josh Sweat, who I think is going to be the defensive MVP. I just don't see how I just don't see it. Like, Calvin Ridley's going to get his. I'm sure Kyle Pitts, if he even starts and becomes what he's supposed to become, I just don't see it. Like, I don't see Matt Ryan having all day to throw. Julio Jones, like I said, is a killer, and for him not to be there, I just don't see it. And I say that the Eagles win game 1.
Score?
No score. I don't know. Like, I'm just gonna say W or a loss. I'm not gonna give no score.
Okay.
23. I'll say like 24-13, something like that.
Okay. Week 2 versus San Francisco 49ers. I'll start off. That's a loss. I feel like that's actually a blowout. I think the San Francisco 49ers will win that game 28-10, and it'll suck being back at the link for the first time in 2 years. That San Francisco team is returning a lot of pieces, and it's week 2, so you won't have any injuries right off the bat. That is going to be a tough game to watch. 28-10, San Fran.
Go, Zach.
Oh, man. San Francisco. Should I repeat what I wanted to do last year with the victory? The answer is we're going to be competitive in each one of these games. Anybody that wants to play rock, paper, scissors and is afraid to lose is going to be competitive. And ultimately, I do think the 49ers win, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a higher score game. I'm going to go 28-24 with the 49ers winning. I'm thinking there's only going to be 1, maybe 2 blowouts for the Eagles all season. I think they're going to hang in there and lose, relatively in one score, 10 points or less every single game.
You think we're going to score 24 points against that defense? Interesting.
They do have 2 guys. They have a couple of guys coming back from injury. They're weak in the secondary if we can take advantage of it. They just signed Josh Norman, who's not going to start, but as a backup. That just shows they're leaning on Jason Verrett as their go-to defensive back, and outside of that, they have a weakness at defensive back. It's all about getting pressure up front.
Yeah,
I agree. Listen, at first I thought this was going to be a loss, like a really bad loss. Now I just think that it's going to be a close loss, like Zach says. Unfortunately, I think we do lose. But I'll tell you right now, I don't know who the starting quarterback is, but if it's Trey Lance, if it's Jimmy G, that's not who I'm concerned about. What I'm concerned about is that defense, how they're going to probably shut us down. Last year, don't get it twisted. I don't know if they won 4 games, 5 games. They were all decimated with injuries, and they still were in the game. So San Francisco, I think, are contenders this year. But we're playing at the Link. It is our home opener. I don't see us getting blown out. But I will say, I think Robert Sala, whatever. They lost their defensive coordinator, which I think is huge. So their defense is going to be different. Maybe it'll work in our favor. I could see us winning this game, but I'm going to say we're going to lose, but in a close one.
Okay. So we all have it as a loss. That's all that matters. All right. Week number 3 at the Dallas Cowboys, Monday Night Football, national TV, one of our few national TV games of the year. I will let Zach start with this one.
That's a loss.
I think so.
You have us at 0-3 already.
I hate to be that Eagles guy, but, as a radio sports guy, I'm going to try to keep my bias out here. I do think if Dak Prescott's healthy, that this is their division to lose. And that's just me being honest.
So you have us at 0-3 already.
So you have us at 0-3.
Competitive 0-3.
Okay.
I think – you want me to go or Kyle? You go.
Yeah, you go first.
I think this is one of the blowouts. I have absolutely no jump for this game, no nothing for this game. You could tell me anything you want. We're healthy with this and that. I don't care. I think Dallas Cowboys are going to absolutely annihilate us. I think they're going to really beat us. I think Dallas, for some reason, I've been feeling it, even with the Dak injury or whatever, unless he gets hurt. And I think Dak Prescott, to be honest with you, we'll get into it during the season. I think he's very average quarterback at best. And people are going to say, Zombie, you're a hater. But the truth is, when you have basically 3 number ones at your wide receiver and that good offensive line and an all-star running back, and you play in the dome for 8 games out of the year, listen, I just think you have everything handed to you. I think this is the year that the Dallas Cowboys put it together. Their schedule is very cake, in my opinion. I think besides Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Kansas City, the Saints is not even that tough because no more Drew Brees. That's a winnable game. Usually when you go down to New Orleans, it's usually a loss. But at the end of the day, I think their schedule is cake. I think Monday night is their home opener, and I think they absolutely annihilate us.
Okay. All right, so offensively, they destroy us. It doesn't really matter. They have Zeke. They have Cooper. They have pretty much everyone. CeeDee Lamb. They have everyone. They have a decent offensive line besides Zach Martin. Well, he might be back for that game. You know what?
Blake Jarwin's coming into his own.
I'm going to do something I usually never do. All right, so I'm going to this game, unfortunately. And it's on Monday Night Football because the last time I went, we got absolutely smacked on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to do something I usually don't do, and it has nothing to do with what I believe in. I think, since I'm going, I have it down as a win. It makes no sense. I understand that, but I cannot deal with seeing another loss to the Dallas Cowboys in the fashion that I saw it. So I have us at 1-2 start of the season. I'm not giving a score. I don't think their defense is that good besides upgrading Micah Parsons. I have it down as a win. I think we're going to beat the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Next game is the Kansas City Chiefs loss.
Let's just skip that. We all agree that's a loss. We're going to get shellacked. Home or not, let's get shellacked.
All right, better game. Week 5, Carolina Panthers at Carolina. Sam Darnold is their quarterback. They have Christian McCaffrey, MVP candidate, in my opinion. What do you guys got?
I'm going to have a W here. It's still going to be a close game. I think we're going to have a lot of close games, more than people think. And Carolina showed that they lost a lot of close games last year. I think they're still revamping that defense, so I think there's still holes over on that side of the ball. Sam Darnold has the adjustment of going back to a college type of system with Joe Brady and them over at Carolina. I do think he bounces back a little bit this year, but probably not until later in the year when he fully adjusts to the pieces around him and the offensive play calling.
Okay.
I think this is also going to be a win. Not that I think Carolina stinks by any means. I think they have a solid squad, like Zach was saying with the coaches. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I think we're going to absolutely kill him. I said basically just got to contain. Not that it's easy, but we got to contain Christian McCaffrey, and I think we're good. We're going to be good at stopping the run. Robbie Anderson doesn't scare me. Moore doesn't scare me. So I think if we all go based on what we said. Week 2, we lost to San Francisco. Week 3, we lost to Dallas. And then week 4, lost to Kansas City. We're staring at 1-3. So I think this is a game where they're going to say, okay, we need to win this game and go to 2-3. So that's why I say W there.
I have this down as a loss. The last time we won in Carolina was 2017 when we won the Super Bowl. We had trouble down there because the refs were not on our side at all. We had about, I think, 11 penalties. It was one of those games where you really had to eke out a win because the refs just hated us that game. Home field advantage will not be there for us this time around. I feel like it'll be the same song and dance. I had us beating the Dallas Cowboys, so that's the one win in the first 4 weeks of the season. This will be a loss, so I have us sitting at 1-4 to start the season.
I have 2-3, and he has 1-4, correct?
Yep.
Yes. All right. Then week 6, we come on. Short week. Thursday Night Football, one of our few national TV games against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady, who is still not over the Super Bowl loss. So I'm going to start with Zomp on this one.
We're at home, correct?
Yep.
We're going to lose every big game. We're going to lose every big team. There's always that one team that we always come out and win. It's a Thursday night, short week. Oh, man. Everybody, Tom Brady is that. I don't know.
It's harder now, isn't it? It's harder.
Because
Not many wins.
it depends. Like if it's going, like I said, the first 5-6 games are the toughest. But I don't see us losing every big game. You tell Kansas City's definitely a loss. Kansas City, the Dallas game, and then the San Francisco game. There's got to be one of them that we win. It's got to be one of them.
I picked the Cowboys.
I'm gonna say loss here. I'm gonna say because it's Tom Brady, it's the Patriots. We are home. It's Thursday night. I think we just give it our all for Carolina. I think the Carolina game is gonna be a win, but it's gonna be like a grinded out win that we need, like I said, because you don't want to drop to 1-4, and now you're playing Tampa Bay when you could be 1-5. So I think that Carolina game, after those two big losses to Dallas and Kansas City, I think we bounce back against Carolina. I think we ended up losing, and then we're gonna have 10 days off. So yeah, I'm gonna go loss with the Tampa Bay. So I got us at 2-4 right there.
Okay, Zach.
All right, you know me. I absolutely hate doing predictions game by game by game because so much can change from week 1 to week 2 to week 4. So for me, I'm just going to sit here and tell you guys this. On my most optimistic picks, I'm going to go 9 wins for the Eagles this season. I think the bare minimum is 5 wins. I think they fall somewhere between that, probably 7 and 9, right around that. So that's, or 7 and 10, whatever. Sorry. I got to get used to the 17-game season, so like a 7-10, 8-9 type of season. But ultimately, like I said, I think they're going to continue to play hard. This is a Nick Sirianni coach team that, hates to lose. He hates and is competitive and everything. I'm sure, if he plays his 5-year-old niece in a game of horse, he's going to try to win that game. So that's what he's going to bring, that kind of mentality, and that's what Jalen Hurts is going to bring, that kind of mentality. So I do think Zomp is right. We have to, continue to grind. In one of these big games that we're expected to lose, we're going to come out victorious because we're going to keep giving it our all.
Okay. All right. Well, I have this as a loss. I just go off of that revenge factor against Tom Brady. We beat Tom Brady in 2015 at his own stadium. We beat him in the Super Bowl. He came back with a vengeance, beat us with the Patriots with that. I'm going to be honest with you, that wasn't a great Patriots team at all. This Tampa Bay team just won the Super Bowl. They're going to come back and beat us again. So I have us at 1-5 to start the season. Not too good. Then we travel West Coast, 4:05 game against the Las Vegas Raiders. I will start off with this one. We won our last game in Oakland in 2013. That's the game where Nick Foles, one of my favorite Eagles players of all time, put up 7 touchdowns in that game. And the one before that, we lost to Jamarcus Russell. So if it's going by a pattern every 8 years, but you know what? They're not in Oakland anymore. So if I'm going by a pattern, it's in a dome this time. It's in a better stadium. Yeah, guys, I'm trying to find a win here. I'm really trying to find a win here. I'm going to say this is a win. I feel like we're going to go to Vegas. We're going to beat the Raiders, and we will be 2-5 on the season.
Go ahead, Zop.
I mean, I find this was a win. I mean, Derek Carr scares you. Henry Ruggs scares you. Not to me, especially if we lose against, especially if we lose against Tampa Bay. Now, I'm not shitting on Oakland, but I'm just being honest with you. I just see a win here. I don't see. I'm thinking about it. I just don't see what scares me about the Raiders. Why we shouldn't go in there and win? Like you said, new stadium. That should actually help Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts. So I have this as a win. I have this at 3-4.
Mm-hmm. Zach?
I think Zomp said something earlier in the podcast that really resonates now as we get towards the middle, towards the end of the schedule. This is where it starts to weaken up. We have a couple of winnable games in a row, followed by 2 New York teams and then a bye week, and then we finish off with the divisional schedule. I think this is a game that, could be potentially, if we're looking to compete for the division, if we stay afloat in those first 6 or so games, this is a turnaround game where it could really have us come together. We end up getting a smackdown on them, like 34-20 or something. It could be a difference changer. I'm going to say it's going to be a win. But watch out for the deep ball because Derek Carr is not known for throwing the ball deep. He showed a little bit of it last year. He did it accurately. I think Henry Ruggs is just a little bit better. Maybe that's the Alabama side of me. But I think he just a little better. And just be careful of that deep ball and going over the top.
Okay. So you have it as a win?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a win. All right.
34-20.
So I have 2-5. Zomp has.
I'm at 3-4.
3-4, and Zach is 3-4. Okay. Then we go to Detroit. I will start with this one. I know it's going to be weird for me to say this because the Detroit Lions are supposed to be one of the worst teams this year, especially losing Galladay to the Giants. We don't win in Detroit. It's that simple. We just do not. It's just something about going there. It doesn't matter what type of team it is. On Thanksgiving, we got smacked. The last time we were there, we got smacked. This is a loss. It's on Halloween. It's on Sunday. I don't even know if I'm going to be geared up for this game because Halloween's my favorite holiday of the year. I'll be watching horror movies all day, especially after, I predict a loss. So that's a loss for me. I have set 2-6 to start the season.
I absolutely think that we demolished the Detroit Lions. I think the Detroit Lions are one of the worst teams of football. I think Jared Goff, like I've always been saying, he was a product of Sean McVay. Detroit is the loser, and I'm sorry to be so rough, but I'm being honest with you. I think it's a loser city. I think it's a loser team and a loser fan base. I say they're the most cursed team in the National Football League. I think Jared Goff stinks. And even with McVay, I thought he stink. I think he was the sole reason why they lost in the Super Bowl. All he had to do was make a couple of plays here and there, and the Rams could have won. And because of him and his pussy style quarterback play, I think they're the real reason why they lost the Super Bowl, and not because of the New England Patriots defense. I think this is absolutely a win, and it may be an ugly loss for the Detroit, and I have us at 4-4.
Okay. Yeah, I was at 500. Start the season. What about you, Zach?
All right, Zop, you better be careful over there because the Detroit fan base is buying into Dan Quinn. They might come for your kneecap, so you got to be careful over there. I still think that we end up walking away with a win in this one, so I'm not going to say the score, but I do think we get a victory out of this one because this is a team that the cupboards are bare, and if we can't beat a team where the cupboards are bare, then we shouldn't be competing at all.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, they lost Matt Stafford, but Jared Goff isn't a pushover. Like, I hate to break it to you. Jared Goff is actually, I'm going to say average quarterback, but he's playing on turf.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, he's not terrible. All right, so I have this as a loss. Samp has it as a win, and you have it as a win.
Yeah.
So we come on home, a 4-5 game against the Los Angeles Chargers, and I will start with this one as well. Herbert is going to be an MVP candidate this year. Dark horse, I'm calling him the MVP of the year. Los Angeles last year lost a lot of games that they could have won easily. This year, reversal of fortunes. They win those games that they would have lost last year. This is a loss for me. I have us starting off 2-7.
I do have us as a loss, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good. You already started.
Oh, no. I just I think it's a loss, like Kyle said. I think Justin Herbert. I don't know if he's going to be MVP. MVP is a tall task, but I think he's going to be definitely one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And we definitely have an advantage at home, but there's something that tells me that, that they're one of them teams that they grind out. They should have won a couple more games than they did. Like you said, the last 7 games, the last 7 losses, they were in that game. But I just think their roster is better. I think Justin Herbert is obviously the better quarterback here. And I think they go to Lincoln Financial Field and win. A lot of the fan base is probably going to think we win this game because we're home and we don't have to fly across. But for some reason, I feel this is a loss, and I have us at 4-5.
Okay. Zach?
Oh, man, this is a tough one because I think if we can get after the quarterback and Justin Herbert, and this is a revamped offensive line that's probably going to have cohesiveness by the time we play them with Rashawn Slater and a couple other guys that they added and revamped with. But if our defensive line is as good as we think it's going to be, and we can get after Justin Herbert and make him turn over the ball a little more, something that we didn't see last year with Justin Herbert as much as I think we'll see this year, with having to push the ball down the field a little more. I think this is a winnable game, but ultimately I think we lose a close one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
So me and Zach are 4-5?
Yes. All right, I'm going to answer this question from Bob before we go to the next game. Were there anyone that made the roster that you surprised you? Yeah, kind of. JJ, being completely honest with you. Yep.
I'm surprised that Rich Rod did not make the roster as a tight end. That's my
I like Richard Rod.
And, all right, so week 10, and this is where I say our schedule is like one of the most unfavorable in the NFL because if this is a home game, I would have it as a win. It's a road game. It's up in Mile High. This is a loss to the Denver Broncos. They're going to be starting Teddy Bridgewater. He's experienced. Jerry Jeudy, I feel, is going to have a better year this year. I'm not saying that the Denver Broncos are that good of a team because, like I just said, if we were home, we'd win this game. But it's everything being on the road. It's probably going to be cold as fuck. And I have us losing a close game to the Denver Broncos. I have us at 2-8 to start the season.
I think this is going to be an ugly loss, to be honest with you. Traveling up there, it's difficult to play up there. I'm not scared of Teddy Bridgewater, but there's always that one game that we make that one quarterback whose average look like Tom Brady. You know, like last year with a couple of years ago against Ryan Fitzpatrick. I just think that traveling there and after that, what was it? What was the game that we played before this? The Chargers game. I just think we get on an ugly. Chargers. I think we get on an ugly stretch of losses, and this is going to be the second one. And I just think, like you said, if we were home, it's a possibility we win. But Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and I think Denver's defense is actually going to be pretty good this year. I think what is it? Fangio is
Vic Fangio.
So I think the Denver Broncos are going to come out victorious. So I got us at 4-6.
Yep, start the season.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so I'm not even quite sure Teddy Bridgewater starts at this point in the season because I do believe in Drew Lock.
Okay.
Lock has a lot more upside than Teddy Bridgewater. I think Vic Fangio's fighting for his job. That's why I went with a guy that's not as turnover prone as Drew Lock, so he can try to win games with the defense that, let's be honest, for a defensive guy, they really stunk last year. I don't care that Von Miller was injured. They really underperformed last year. Let's see if Von Miller helps that defense bounce back. I think this is a winnable game, and I think ultimately we could pull it out.
Interesting.
Is Von Miller back?
Yeah, he's back this year.
He's getting old as fuck. All right. And then the next game, oh, God, this schedule sucks. Then we go to New Orleans Saints. This game is home, so it actually benefits us a little bit. I actually at first thought this was in the Superdome. This, to me, is kind of a winnable game. I'm not going to lie to you. Since it's home, I have to find a win somewhere. You know what? I'm going to go win 3-8. I understand what I said about Jameis Winston, and Sean Payton always beats us. Jameis Winston got his eyes fixed. I feel like the Saints will be better than people think this year. But since this is at our house, we got to win games eventually. I don't think we're going to be absolutely horrendous like the Houston Texans. So we have to find a win eventually. I'll go 3-8. I'll go with the New Orleans Saints in this game. I mean the Eagles in this game.
Yeah, I have definitely a win here. The Saints, every time we play at home, is usually better than when we go over there. Drew Brees playing, it would be a different story. But even if Drew Brees played, I think we still win the game. Drew Brees, I just feel like last year they had the number one defense. We're playing against, and like you said, Kyle, they didn't have any film on Jalen Hurts, so maybe that's why we won. But he still performed. We still came out with the W. I just feel that after these two losses that I had, they come back at home, they grind out a win, they beat the New Orleans Saints. There's nothing that scares me, especially Michael Thomas will probably just be coming off injury. If not, he's still injured. Besides Alvin Kamara, I'm not scared of Callaway. I'm not scared of their running game. I'm not scared of Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill. So I'm going to get us a win, and I have us at 5-6.
Okay.
All right, let's be honest here. You know, a handful of these games, we're just going to get outcoached. And I think Sean Payton's going to show how great he is even without Drew Brees. So I have this as a loss, even though Jameis Winston's starting. I think there's just, like I said, too many variables to decide games this late in the season. But the good thing is, I talked about it, if we're hovering around, we're hanging around, this is where our season starts to get really favorable. Because if you look from here to the end of the season, we're basically playing either home games or we're traveling within 3 hours. So it's not like we're going distance. You know, we got at Washington, we have at New York. I know they play in New Jersey, but I'm just saying. So I think this is where our season starts to get really favorable. And if we can hang in there through the first half of our season, this is where we start to get into the easier part and, you know, hope that we can at least compete for the NFC East that has shown itself to be rearing its ugly head and, 9-10 wins it every year.
Okay. All right. So our schedule.
Hold on. There was a question that just somebody, if you go back to this one, said, "Yo, Zach, are you rooting for the Colts this year?" I hope the Colts, and I don't care about the pick. I hope the Colts are abysmal, and I hope Carson Wentz is fucking gets hurt, whatever the situation may be. I wish him nothing but the worst. I put my everything out on the line for that guy. Bought his jersey, an authentic jersey, costing me all this bullshit. I don't care about the pick because we have 2 first-round picks, and even if he doesn't perform, we still have a second-round pick regardless. I absolutely hope the Colts go 0-17.
All right, and when Zom says the word authentic, you know he really loved Carson Wentz. He's a guy that pretty much broke his heart because, you know, he proved him wrong. And, and when Zom gets proved wrong, you don't want to be anywhere near him. So we will move on to Zom's favorite team, other than the Philadelphia Eagles, at the New York Giants. All right. So we're at the New York Giants this week. I'm going to start off with this one because I want Zom to say what he has to say because I know how much he loves this team. I have this as a loss, and here's why. The New York Giants will treat this game as if it's the Super Bowl because, number one, we in essence kept them out of the playoffs last year. You know, and they don't like that. They wanted to go in there as a 6-10 team to prove that they had a shot when they really didn't have a shot. They stink. Daniel Jones stinks. Sterling Shepard stinks. Evan Ingram stinks. Their whole team stinks. Joe Judge stinks. What's his fucking face? Jason Garrett stinks. Their GM stinks. Everything about the New York Giants stink. But this is the game where I see them splitting with us because they're going to put everything they have on the line. They do have a way better talent at running back than we do in Saquon Barkley. So I feel like the Giants will squeeze out a victory against us. So I have set 3-9.
All right. Before Zom starts, because I know he has a mouthful to say, I'm going to go first. Okay, Zom? I have this as a loss for the simple fact that they want revenge from what happened last year, even though, you know what, you control your own destiny. If you won more games, you wouldn't have to worry about what we did. But that's not how that team and organization and fan base thinks. Joe Judge came out and said something to the effect like that last year. I think he's going to be true to his word, and they're going to fight as hard as they can. And this is a team that, you know, if they play as well as they should, not saying I think they do, but if they do, they might be fighting for a division, and this is one of the games that divisional games matter, and they need to win. Also, don't forget that Michael Strahan's getting his jersey retirement that year, or that game. So I think that plays a factor as well.
That stadium's going to be juiced when they play us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Before I give my prediction, everybody knows that I despise the New York Giants with all my heart. That's the team I hate the most, not the Dallas Cowboys. I just feel that their fans are abysmal. They are just the stadium is just a swamp. It's just garbage. Everything about the New York Giants, every little thing that happens with the New York Giants, they think they go in the Super Bowl every year. This is a team that everybody says is a better franchise than the Philadelphia Eagles. Meanwhile, it's been 10 years going on 11 where they haven't even sniffed the division, haven't sniffed the Super Bowl. Even if they have 4 more than us, the last 10 years, they have done nothing. Unfortunately, I do have this as a loss, and Zach took a little bit of my thunder. It is, I believe that when especially Michael Strahan of his caliber, they get retired for his jersey number, and the New York Giants, I think they're going to be juiced up, like you guys said. I don't think the Giants are better than us. I do think that there's some things in the world of sports where it doesn't matter sometimes you having being the better squad or better players or better coaches. Just sometimes the other team wants it more. Between us stealing Devontae Smith, between last year, like Zach said, not playing our starters and giving up that last game and costing them the division even though they didn't deserve it. I mean, listen, we're in the last 14 games, we're 12-2 against the Giants. In the last 26 games, we're 21-5. In the last 42 games, we're 30-12. So we're definitely the New York Giants' daddy. There's no question about it. The last 2 times we played them in the playoffs, we beat them 2006 and 2008. I know all these things because that's how much I hate them. But at the end of the day, I do think because of the Michael Strahan or because of all the school jobs that we've done, and it's going to be a juiced-up Jersey Meadowlands Stadium, yes, we do lose, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Can we go back to that other comment that Mark had?
Which one?
About Joe Judge.
Yep.
Joe Judge has a team running laps like they're in high school.
I agree.
Absolutely not true. I mean, maybe at this point in the season, when we do go to play him, at this point where we are, maybe he does start to lose the team. But let's be honest, everybody's buying in. You had the former expatriate that plays defensive back for the Giants. I can't think of his name right now. He's buying in. Everybody else is buying in. This is a team that's looking to compete for the division. I don't think Joe Judge has lost the locker room at all.
Okay. All right, and let's just say if the Giants lose that game, you know how bad that's going to be with their fan base? That's going to be hard. It's going to be great. I love it. All right, so moving on to the New York Jets. We have a late bye this week, this year. The New York Jets at the New York Jets. We have never lost to this franchise in our history that we've been existing. The problem is that's once every 4 years. Now we're playing them not once every 4 years. We're playing them as a penciled-in opponent because of the new 17-game schedule. So I know this is going to burn my heart. I have this as a loss. I feel like a team has to beat us eventually, and I just don't feel like going into that game, whether we win or lose against the Giants, I just feel like the Jets just want to beat us so badly because they've never beat us before. And Zach Wilson, I feel like, is going to be the Rookie of the Year. It's a hot take. I feel like he's going to be the Rookie of the Year. And I just feel like they muster up a game and they beat us. So I have us at 3-10 to start the year. Zach.
All right, I'll
Want me to go?
I'll go.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll go. I got his This is a tough game to predict. As we get later and later in the season, there's so much unknown. Who knows? Maybe Gardner Minshew is starting at this point. I don't think he does, but I'm just feeding into the fan base that wants Gardner Minshew mania. But ultimately, I do think we come out victorious. I think this Jets team just lacks the complete talent. I think Joe Douglas is starting to build a good Jets roster, but they're not quite there. The pass rush is non-existent for the Jets. So that bodes well for Jalen Hurts and this offense. And ultimately, I think this is one of the games that we can win by 2 scores, whether that's 10 points or 14, 28. It doesn't matter. We're going to win by 2 scores, whether that's 9, 10, or more points.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely have this as a win. Like I said before about the Lions fan base and their franchise, maybe this one is definitely worse than the Detroit Lions. But Zach Wilson, I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. I don't watch college ball, but from what I saw in preseason, you could see that he has the arm strength. He has the playmaking ability. Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, read good things about. I know Corey Davis, but Elijah Moore read good things about him. But I just think, like you said, they have significant losses on defense. I just think that we own the Jets. Obviously, they never beat us, and it's not going to happen now. Whether it was at home or whether it was at Jersey, doesn't matter. I think we absolutely win. I'm so confident in this game that we could be down 34-0 at halftime, and I still think that we'll win. There is no chance that we're losing to the Jets. So I have us at 6-7.
Okay. I'm trying to find something real quick. Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay. So moving on to the bye. Well, obviously the bye we're not going to talk about. Week 15, Washington football team at home. Great defensive line, and guess who they have as quarterback? Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 3-1 against us in his career. It's pretty much a 500 record. The teams he was with were kind of whatever. There's a reason why he was starting with those teams because they're not that great to begin with, but it just seems like historically, I don't know what it is about this guy. He always fucking lights us up no matter what. And they have a good defense, and they have one of my favorite wide receivers in the league, Terry McLaurin. I think Washington is going to sweep us this year. I feel like, they have all the intangibles. They have a guy that is absolutely a thorn in our side. And I have this as a loss. I have this as 3-11 to start the season. It's really bad.
Oh, man, you're killing me. like I said, the further and further we get in the season, the variables change. We don't know if we're riding the high point of Ryan Fitzpatrick's season or the low point of Ryan Fitzpatrick's season. The ebbs and flows with him are, so abysmal. It's ridiculous. I do think since he lit us up the last two times that the roller coaster has to come down at some point. I'm going to say it comes down at least at this point. This is our home game, right? Yeah, we're playing this one at home, so I think this one's a win.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we do sweep them this year. I have Dallas actually sweeping us and us splitting with the Giants and Washington. Washington, their defense is going to be really good. But if our offensive line is, by the time we play them, is intact, and we're talking about our starters, I think we should be able to contain them. We're at home. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a thorn in our side, but at the end of the day, like I said, we're home to the division game. We have a chance, according to my predictions, we have a chance to be 500, and I think we get a big win against Washington. So I have us at 7-7.
7-7 start the season. All right, and knowing this division, 7-7 is actually a record where you could potentially get into the playoffs in this division. So Zompa's looking more on the optimistic side of it, and I'm looking on the pessimistic side of it. But you never know what happens. This is why it's called prediction. Week 16 against the New York Giants. Atlas is a win. I feel like we split with them, so that puts me at 4-11 on the season.
I have this as a victory. I said earlier that they lose to the Giants in the Meadowlands. I think this is one that we get at home and sneak away with, and it looks like we could fight for the division at this point. I think I have us at 7 wins or something around that line. Like I said, most optimistic, we get 9 wins, and that might be good enough to fight for the division. I don't think we ultimately win the division, but I do think we stay in it a little longer than people think.
Okay.
Yeah, I got this definitely as a win. 8-7. We're at home. Payback for the beating that they're gonna probably give us at the Meadowlands. I just don't see us losing both to them unless we have significant injuries or something crazy happens. I don't think the New York Giants roster is that good. I think on paper it looks better than what it really is. Saquon Barkley, we see clips and we see that he's cutting and it looks good and this and that, but you're going to be only as good as your offensive line. I don't find the Barry Sanders comparison at all. I think it's actually disrespectful because Barry Sanders was actually a Hall of Famer. This guy hasn't done anything since he got here besides wear a stupid earring and just have big thighs. And I'm just being honest with you. I think the offensive line still stinks. I think everybody talking about the Kenny Galladay signing, the guy hasn't played anything. I think Denver's going to actually destroy them in week 1. But at the end of the day, I think we get our comeback and we win. And I have us at 8-7.
All right, cool. I am what am I 4? And I'm trying to add up. I am 4-11. Zach is 6.
You're 4-15, I believe. No,
Wait,
not 4-15. You have 4 wins.
I have 4 wins. Yeah.
So 4-9.
4-9.
Yeah.
4-10. 4-10. Sorry.
4-10. Okay. Wait, no, that wouldn't make any sense.
You have this Washington as a loss.
Yeah, I have them sweeping us.
Okay, then you're 4-10.
No, I would be 4-11 because remember we have the extra game. Yeah. So I'm 4-11 right now. So obviously,
I'm at 8.
Wait, what?
4-10. You don't have enough numbers. 4-10.
All right.
Trust
At the
me, we're
Washington
not
football
scared.
team, I have this as a loss. So I'm at 4-12.
Who's this?
Washington football team at FedEx.
Yeah, that one's a loss. I have us at 8-8.
Okay. Zach.
That's a split. Not much more to say.
Yeah, I'm going to have this as a loss, too, because I think at this point, Washington, New York, and Dallas are all fighting for the division while we slowly fade to the back, so I'm going to have this as a loss, too.
Okay. And last but not least, we have the Dallas Cowboys at home Sunday, January 9th, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to go first. I have this as a loss. We will finish 4-13 on the season. That is my prediction. How about you guys?
I have lost. I think we get swept by Dallas. I have us at 8-9. and I have Dallas winning the division. I think Dallas's schedule is very cake. I think they could easily win between 11 and 12 games. So I have the Philadelphia Eagles finishing 8-9.
All right, Zach.
I have this as a loss because I think they're fighting for not only the division but potentially a higher seed in the playoffs. I have this as a loss. I think we're finishing at 6-11.
All right, 6-11 for Zach, 8-9 for Zomp, and 4-13 for me, which could have very well been 3-14 if my bias of going to Dallas didn't change and I had that as a loss. But I'll give us 4 wins, 4-13 for me. It sucks, but like I said before, I just want to see Jalen Hurts keep us in ball games so we don't have to use assets next year to get a quarterback. But with that said, guys, hopefully you guys having a good Labor Day. We are going to get out of here. On your way out, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. And hopefully you guys join us every single week. We are back, and we'll be back right after the Atlanta Falcons game. So tune in for that, and I'm happy to have these two boys back. Yeah, what's up?
One more thing, just really quickly, each of us give before the season starts, we give a prediction for the offensive MVP for the Eagles, defensive MVP for the Eagles.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. Thank you. Offensive MVP for the Eagles, I'm going to go Jalen Reagor. Defensive MVP, I'm going to go Josh Sweat.
Zach?
All right, offensive MVP, I think it starts and ends with the quarterback, so I'm going to go Jalen Hurts because it all depends on him and how well we do. So I'm going to go with the Jalen Hurts, and I think if it's someone other than Jalen Hurts, we're having a miserable season. On the defensive side of the ball, I think Darius Slay bounced back now that we have a legitimate number 2 corner. I think he shows that he can play a lot better, and he's not going to be put on an island with, everybody throwing his way. So I think he does have a bounce back year. That doesn't mean he's going to have more interceptions than he did last year. I just think he overall does a lot better of containing wide receivers.
All right, cool.
Mine, I have to agree with Kyle. Josh Sweat, definitely defensive MVP. And surprisingly, and I know you guys are going to say, ew, that's gross. I think our offensive MVP is going to be Miles Sanders. For some reason, I just think our running backs are going to be really good, and he's going to perform like he's supposed to perform. And I think he's going to be really good this year. So I'm going to go surprise and go Miles Sanders.
All right, cool, guys. That is our prediction show. That's our Week 1 versus Atlanta show. Anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah.
No, if you guys want to break down college quarterbacks, we'll do it next show. I'll prepare because I do have a few in mind.
All right, excellent. Zach and I will be back sometime. Well, for the preview show, there's going to be a switch up. Zop isn't usually on the preview show, so this is actually a treat for us to have him on. He will be on every single postgame show. Sporadically, he'll probably be on the preview shows, but from now on, Wednesday or Thursday, it's going to be me and Zach for like an hour 15, hour and a half. We'll take calls, do all that stuff, but we are back for the season, and hopefully you guys enjoy our content. But we're out of here. You guys have a good holiday, and we will see you after the Atlanta Falcons.